On the Magic without Giannis, Bobby Portis stepped up with 30 points, 9 rebounds, and career-high 5 steals to help Milwaukee to a 117-99 win over Orlando. This was just one night, of course, after Antetokounmpo left with a win over the Boston Celtics because of a strained calf. Now, the Bucks released a statement on social media regarding the status of Giannis following his non-contact injury versus the Celtics on Tuesday, saying he will sit out the rest of the regular season while receiving treatment and evaluation every day. So, Joe, I'm going to start with you on this one. Do you think that the Bucks should consider holding Giannis out of the first round of the playoffs?
I mean, if there's any risk of further damaging that injury like we saw with Kevin Durant back in 2019, then yeah, you hold him out of the first round of the playoffs. No one behind the scenes in Milwaukee is going to want to have to admit this, but they're not really a championship contender this year. The only way you can consider them a championship contender is because the rest of the Eastern Conference is loaded with problems outside of Boston. And even Boston has some problems closing out big games in big spots. 3 key things that need to be on your resume if you're going to make a deep run in the postseason. You got to be able to win on the road, you got to be able to play defense, and you got to be consistent. This team is 18th in the NBA in defensive efficiency. They're sub 500 with a record on the road, and they've been wildly inconsistent throughout the course of the year. So if you think you truly have a chance to win this thing, but Giannis' health is important and you could damage his
Joe! I gotta stop you! Joe! Oh my God! Have you looked at the standings? Have you looked at the standings potentially? Right now, if they hold that 2, they could run into either Miami or the Philadelphia 76ers. They can't afford to hold him out of the first round potentially. Now, granted, a couple things could shake out. I think they would run into either one of those teams, but they can't afford to sit him out of the first round right now, you guys. Like, we know what Miami did last year. Yes, that was an injured Giannis Antetokounmpo. You take the whole thing into consideration. Miami got hot at the right time. Okay, yeah, history is well documented. The Sixers with Joel Embiid, who granted may not be back to 2 feet, but he's playing with energy. And I think as much as we talk about these players and their development on the court, I think you got to look at the arc of Joel Embiid a little bit this year. He's gotten really close. He's won his MVP. He's gotten married. He's a father now. Like, I think as a man, he's in a different place and probably is going to present differently in this postseason run. So when you're looking at what the Bucks have to deal with, I don't think they can afford to sit Giannis Antetokounmpo. Their problem has been giving up points in the paint all season long. On that 4-game losing streak, y'all, they gave up 230 points in the paint to those 4 teams. This issue is not going to get better with Giannis off the floor, and it doesn't get easier in the postseason. If they run into either of those 2 teams, they can ill afford to rest him in the first round, unless, frankly, they're going to call it and try again next year.
So, Monica, what I'm worried about when it comes to Giannis and this calf injury, we also talk about the left hamstring that hampered him and bothered him this year. We also talk about the Achilles soreness on his left Achilles that he had also this year. And when I mean this year, I'm talking about 2024, since March, I think, 2nd. That is not sitting right with me, because now it's all about how does this young man feel? And if you're in the front office, if you're the head coach, Doc Rivers, you can't put Giannis back there on that basketball court if it's going to hamper his future. Because the last thing you do want to have is a situation that we had with Kevin Durant, right? When Kevin Durant goes out there, and then we also watched the Aaron Rodgers on a Monday Night Football game when a lot of people had the high hopes for the Jets go out and blow his Achilles. That's the last thing you want for this organization when it comes to the Bucks moving forward. We already know, and I'm pretty sure behind closed doors they won't say it, but we admit it for them. They're not going to win the NBA championship this year. It's just not set in stone for them. It's not their year. So if I'm going to protect my player versus going out there in the potential of him hurting himself with a greater injury, I'm going to do that.
What's amazing about all of this is that last year, Dame Lillard left a situation where he was having to carry a team in situations like this, only to find himself potentially in the playoffs this year, once again carrying a team through the postseason. I wonder how he responds if they decide they're going to be extra cautious with Giannis, and then he starts thinking about his future as to, this isn't really what I signed up for, Monica.
Look, I know it's first take, y'all, and we got to feel all the energy that Stephen A. usually brings, but we all agree, right? If they sit him, they are conceding that this is about the long-term future as opposed to this particular season. And now the conversation becomes, and Harry, you know this, are you hurt or are you injured? If it's hurt and he can play through it, then fine. They got a shot at whatever happens this year. If he's injured and misses this postseason, then cool, begin your rehabilitation process. I also think, Joe, to that note about Damian Lillard, one of the things this year that has been discussed a little bit with this team is the reality that you just don't get to add water, and it mean winning automatically, particularly in a year where this team has had head coaching turnover. But I do wonder, to your point, if Dame would somewhat relish the opportunity to be sort of the lead again, as the Bucks will put up whatever best fight they can going into a postseason if they don't have Giannis.
Ooh, now it gets interesting. Dame puts the team on his back, wins a couple playoff series. Giannis doesn't like that shine. He requests a trade out.
Oh, Lord, Joe.
Oh,
Lord.
God.
My goodness, don't do that. But listen, isn't this what
first date?
Isn't this what Giannis wanted though? He said, "Hey, I want Dame to take the lead."
Yeah.
He came out and said that.
Yeah.
But can we also give Bobby Portis some credit now?
Yeah, for sure.
Bobby Portis has been playing
That's a good call.
butt off for the Milwaukee Bucks.
That's a good call.
We don't want to leave that conversation there. You good? Good about that?
Yes, because Joe does
right.
let the NBA world
He over here talking about Giannis is going to request a trade, just causing straight chaos. All right, coming up.
Taking the lead. Tied for the lead. We've taken the lead.
Reloading. Killer drone on standby. Hunter killer drone deployed. Missile on standby. Friendly Predator missile inbound.
Changing mag. Grenade out. Snipers! Reloading. Cover me.
Objective almost complete. Keep it up. We're almost there. Keep it up. Predator missile inbound.
Enemy contact.